10 or 15 years ago, I realized that I had acquired a fair number of statues of gods and goddesses, so I decided to make a thing of it and collect more. One of my goals was to find ones from as many different cultures as possible. This wasn't easy. Some cultures use images more than others, and some are more popular. For instance, I found it very easy to get statues of Egyptian and Hindu deities. Some of the Indo-European cultures had easily obtainable statues, like the Greeks. The Celts were a little harder, and I still have only one Slavic image. Another problem was that the terms god and goddess don't necessarily apply in many cultures. I decided to expand my categories and create a shrine of the Numina, of any being who was at any time an object of cult or myth. This meant including a Chinese dragon, Hopicachinas, and the Roman Emperor Caesar Augustus. You can see how well I've succeeded in obtaining a variety of cultures here. In this picture are Greek, Roman, Shinto, Hindu, Afro-Caribbean, Near Eastern, Hopi, and Egyptian images, with bits of a Celtic goddess and a Chinese peeking in. I still have too high a percentage of Egyptian and Hindu deities, as you can see from the fact that there are two of each in this small section, but there's not much I can do about that. The images themselves vary greatly in a number of ways: size, style, age, intended function, etc. Some were created to be shrine images, and some as works of art or just to be decorative. Some are in ancient coins, and some very modern. Many are anthropomorphic representations, but some are symbols, like this cross of breed, or this triskel for Mononon. I got the statues from a lot of different places. One good place is Sacred Source, a link to which is in the description. They sell statues from a number of cultures, including some of the Indo-European ones, American Indian, Afro-Caribbean, and Hindu. There are two problems with the images, though. First, they have a certain look to them. Although they may be based on ancient images, they have been smoothed out in a way distinctive to Sacred Source. This means that if you have a lot of them together, they look odd. Second, Sacred Source frequently misidentifies them. They say that this is the Welsh Arianrhod when it is a Gaulish mother goddess, and that this mistress of the animals from the steppes is the Iranian goddess of purity Anahita. Be aware of this and do a bit of research before accepting their identifications. Even with these problems, though, they are worth looking at, since they have statues of deities you won't find anywhere else. I also bought a lot of them on eBay. Take this rice god from the Philippines. That's not something you're likely to find easily. eBay gives you access to many cultures' art. The others were bought here and there. Most of my kachinas come from Foxwoods Indian Casino, although I bought two in a gift shop in the Tucson airport. This Heracles is from a museum gift shop. This kind of store often has replicas of ancient images. I found this goddess in an antique store. This image I used for the Roman flora came from my town's dump swap shop. So if you're looking for a deity image, keep your eyes open. Don't pass by places that you might not think to look like thrift stores. Also, don't limit yourself to images made specifically to be deities. The flora image is meant as a kitschy piece of decoration. This goddess of harvest was meant to be a Thanksgiving decoration. Don't hesitate to modify an image either. In the Roman Empire and ancient Greece, divine images, both large ones from temples and the small ones that would have been found in a household shrine, were painted in realistic colors. I found that the statues I bought from Sacred Source are generally improved by being painted, such as this Epona or this Gaulish mother goddess. For this Mithraic Leontocephalus, I went further and covered it with gold metal leaf, giving me a statue that looks like it's made of gold or brass. I didn't have any choice but to paint and metal this statue of Caesar Augustus. I bought it at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas, and the name of the casino was cut into its base. I had to fill it in with putty. The statue would have looked silly if I'd left it like that, so I covered it with gold metal leaf and then painted and metaled the rest of the statue as well. I'd like to show you some of my favorite images. This is an Inca sun god. My daughter spent a month in Peru, and in the area where she was staying, the religion of the people varied on a scale from pure indigenous to pure Catholic. Those who are on the indigenous end of the spectrum have images of pagan deities in their home shrines. She found this one in an antique store. It had come from one of those shrines. I really liked that it had actually been part of someone's cult. This is the Greek goddess of dawn, Eos. It's on a Wedgwood plate, and Wedgwood likes to put classical images on their pottery. My wife collects Wedgwood, so I kept looking until I found an Eos image on a pink one, the color of what Homer calls Dawn's rosy fingers. This is a good example of finding an image somewhere you might not think of looking for one. This is a replica of a statue of Vulcan that stands high above Birmingham, Alabama. A friend of mine got this from a tourist souvenir store for me. I love the idea of a pagan god looking over a city that's lodged firmly in the Bible Belt. This is a replica of the goddess of democracy that was set up by the protesters in Tiananmen Square in Beijing. I bought it on eBay. It still appalls me how little the West did to help them. Here is a replica of the Statue of Armed Freedom that's on the top of the U.S. Capitol building. It's made from crushed marble taken from a porch of the actual building that was being renovated. I bought it from the U.S. Capitol building website. It's unfortunately no longer available. So that's a glimpse at my Numina shrine. I'd love to get more, but as you can see, I've pretty much run out of space. As it is, though, it serves as a reminder of just how many deities there are and as a constant acknowledgement of their presence in my life. I hope I've given you some ideas for shrines of your own and how to obtain images for them.